All right. Hello, everyone. It's been a while. My name is David. And the title is not a clickbait. I have dropped out of MIT after a year and a half of studying and doing my master's in architecture in Boston, or in Cambridge, I should say. Um, yeah, so I'm back in Montreal, and there's a lot to cover. As you can probably tell, there's a lot going on right now. First of all, I have a beard, which is kind of new for me. It's probably the longest I've let it grow, and it's itchy, but I'm trying to grow it out, trying something new. 2026 now, so it's the New Year's. Like I said, I'm back in Montreal. You're probably asking yourself, where the hell am I right now? In which room am I? And why is it so dirty and empty? And why is there construction stuff? I'm actually in my bedroom right now. I think I recorded here a few times. There's some past videos on my channel where you see like my bed and my books shelves and my books and my table and whatever, like in the back. So this is the same room. It's just that now it's completely empty, and I apologize if the audio is really bad. I'll try my best in the post-production to edit it, because it's so echoey right now. There's like literally nothing. And yeah, I just started kind of demolishing everything. There's like a little bit of plaster I started like fixing and like just plugging in the holes, and we're gonna repaint. I'm gonna redo like the floors. This is an old house, like from the 1920s. And so nice thing is like, it's a Canadian house. It's a real Canadian house. So it has like nice maple hard floor that I want to like completely just sand off and refinish it. All the window sills are removed, and even the door sills. Like, I really want to just redecorate and just redesign everything and turn my room into a studio, a workspace, at least for the next few months. And this is going to take some while for me to, change it up and take the time that it needs to just fix some stuff, but also make it really nice. I want to make it like really cozy, almost turn it into like a library where I can like record some nice videos. But that's besides the point. I'll explain more in detail like at the end. But there's a few things I want to cover in this video. Like I said, there's a lot to cover, and I tried my best to write down what I wanted to talk about, but I was just not able to. I think I just ended up writing the title, and then I just couldn't. I didn't know what to write because there's just too much to talk about. So we're just going to improvise as always, and hopefully it's not too boring. This will be a long video, and I don't care if you're bored. Just skip ahead or just leave. This is just for me to just like, I need to make sense of what has happened. I'm also kind of like, because the first thing I'm going to talk about is like why I dropped out of MIT. I'm sure you guys are probably curious or, want to know why. Because it seemed like, at least from what I've been hearing from you guys and from everyone, like, people think like everything was good, and it was good. And we'll explain in detail the decision. But I also want to, obviously I've been thinking about it before for a while. And also like for the past, it's been like 4 months since I recorded my last YouTube video. And since then, obviously I've had like time to reflect on what has happened. And so it's a way for me to kind of just deconstruct my thought process and the reason why I did that. So that's one part. I'm going to start with that. And then the second part, which is also I'm thinking going to be part of the title of the video, is this health incident that has happened right after New Year's, which is like quite an interesting way to start the year. So I'll explain that as well. But everything is good now. like I'm able to talk, and hopefully everything I say is coherent. I don't have brain damage, hopefully, knock on wood. But yeah, I think um, I feel like I want to explain that, like what has happened, just because it's, it has affected me in a lot of ways. It has changed the way I think. It has affected my family, my some of my friends. Um, yeah, we'll dive into that. So it's like I have to leave in like an hour. It's 3 o'clock now, and I have to leave at 4. Um, so it's gonna take an hour. I'm gonna take the whole time that I have. So I'm gonna split in like however I want it. So let's dive into it. There's a lot to cover. So why did I decide to leave MIT? So for those of you who are new to this channel, I started this this podcast, you can call it, just me talking to the camera and just like rambling on whatever things I'm interested in. But a big part, or the big reason why I decided to start this in the first place, I mean, I've had like the idea of doing a podcast before coming to MIT, but I think meeting the people I've met there and the conversations I've had really inspired me to do this. It has completely changed the way I think. Like, if you compare, I mean, I think every year I feel different, but that last year and a half, even 2 years, was like the most fundamental like shift in the way I think, the way I just like view not just design, but just life. It sounds stupid and it's like really trite for me to say, but it's really I'm super grateful. In short, if I can sum it up, and if you want to click after that and you just want to have your answer why I decided to drop out, the short answer is because the program was way too long. The program I was in was a Master's of Architecture, and it was 3.5 years to do. And back then, I was just, when I was an undergrad, I graduated, and then I started working for a year in a nice design startup. I was traveling Europe. I was going to Dubai, doing like crazy projects, like crazy city designs. And, it was really fun. Really, like, I was flying around, and it was like active. Like, I love exploring and learning new things. So it was like the best job. And it was very flexible. The people there were like super young, super energetic and smart. And I was working with like MIT researchers as well. So it was like really fun. But then I tried to apply to MIT's program. And I didn't really think too much about it. I just applied on the whim. My friend recommended me, and I was like, okay, let's do it. I was like, 3.5 years is fine. Like, whatever, it's MIT. When I was there, I realized like, okay, it's way too long. Like, after a year and like, I think as soon as I entered, I realized like from the first week of orientation that the program was not a good fit for me. I'm sure like some people in my cohort have learned about this podcast. Some of them like even subscribe or told me that they listened to some videos. They would probably tell you the same thing, that like I was not the most enthusiastic, or I wasn't like the most present student, or at least in the program. I was like always skipping classes and just working outside on coffee shops, or doing my own projects and joining other labs and like doing, joining other departments. Cause like I knew, like, before even entering architecture school, I didn't want to be an architect, but I love design. And at the program, I realized was way too rigid, and the courses I was taking were like I didn't want to attend those classes. I wanted to form my own curriculum, which is what I did. Is like I would like petition classes and then take classes at School of Management. I took a lot of business classes. I joined some labs where they were doing like research with like AI, computer science. And then I joined the media lab, did some projects, did some work over there. And funnily enough, I need to flex on this because this is crazy. It's like I learned that the study I was working on, or the paper I was working on like last summer, the paper just got published, or not, sorry, it didn't get published, but it got approved for Chi, which is like um, the biggest like conference slash journal in computation and human interactions, which is like a huge deal because I'm like second author on the paper, which is like mind blowing because I'm like, anyway. So that just happened like this week. I got the news. That's really exciting. But yeah, I was doing like stuff that was like exciting me outside of architecture. I was really like pushing the limits of like the program. And I'm not gonna lie, like the professors hated me. Like I made so many enemies like first month. Like man, like there was one professor who's like, I didn't, okay, that was like my mistake. I didn't really like research that professor before um like registering the course. But not to name any names, but everybody, people who know will know that like it was like a class I didn't want to take because it was like this like structural engineering class that I'm like, okay, I took so many structural engineering classes like back in undergrad. I was a bit cocky. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna not go there. I'm gonna do it another time, like another year or something. I'm just gonna skip it. But then I realized that like, oh man, like I need to take it like later on, like after 2 weeks in of school starting. I was like, okay, I gotta take it. I messed up. And so I came in late. I joined in late. And then I sent him an email about it of why I was doing it. And I told him like, oh, it's because I joined this incubator. I was like working in a startup, whatever, with the media lab. And then he really took it the wrong way. And then like, he was so offended that I skipped. And then I learned that he was like the director of like the design like academy at MIT, which is like, and like, he's like super well respected. And so like, that was not a good contact to piss off, if I'm being honest. But then I apologize, and then I hope that like, I'm sure he's still salty about it. And then other professors who like hate my guts because like I would try not to take their classes. But anyways, that's them. They're being way too like protective of their, and like okay, anyway, I'm not gonna trash talk. It's not good for me to do this. But they were great professors. It's just that like I just didn't want to I wanted to do my own thing, you know? And yeah, I think that was the best decision. I have no regrets because like meanwhile, like all my, like most of my friends were like doing classes and they would complain. They would look at me and be like, man, I wish I did what you did. And like, you know, they would complain about the classes they're taking. And I'm like, you could have done it. It's just like, there's like friction and you have to like bend the rules sometimes. So I just did what I wanted to do. I felt like a kid in a candy store at MIT. And then especially the first year, not even like the whole a year and a half was a sprint. And people say like, oh, it's a marathon, a sprint. But I was like, no, ain't no way. There's so much change going on in the world. I'm paying crazy tuition. Like I'm a Canadian dude. And I was living in the US for the first time, paying US rent. Luckily, I had a tuition. I had a fellowship that eventually covered everything. So like, but I had to work hard to get a job there first. Because the first 6-8 months, like I had to, there was still a remaining fee for the tuition. But after that, I found a job at a lab that covered everything, like health insurance, rent, pay, like everything, paycheck, everything. So that was like, I was like, okay, now I'm good. But that's where, and then maybe I can talk a bit about that. Because I had to work at the same time as studying, sounds great in theory. Like, yeah, I'm getting this experience, which I did, worked on great projects. They gave me a lot of they trusted me a lot on things where I felt like I wasn't I wasn't qualified 100%. But I was, I was learning fast and I was delivering, but at what cost? And that was my health. I neglected sleep. I neglected nutrition. The apartment I was living in East Cambridge, was like right next to a McDonald's, like 5 minutes away. It was and the thing with Boston is and Cambridge is like everything closes really early. So things close at like six, like 7, 8. By 5, there's no one on the street. Like everyone's back home. Like it's really like family oriented and very like everyone's like prioritizing like their work-life balance, very 9 to 5y. And yeah, I just ate a lot of McDonald's and like lost all my, I skipped gym. Like I didn't have time to go to the gym, or that's what I thought. I wasn't like disciplined enough, or because I prioritized like all my responsibilities. Cause like when you work at a lab at MIT, like the bar is so high that like, you just have that like expectation of like delivering nonstop. That's the dark side. And obviously I speak from like a privileged point of view. Like, yeah, it's easy for you to say like you were working there and you were at MIT, but like I was talking to like a lot of postdocs and researchers there, and like some of them were thriving. Some of them like they were like really smart, and it just like they were good. But a lot of them were struggling, like mentally, like health wise. Like my old roommate in my dorm, like he's like this dude from China who is a postdoc in a chemistry lab. And I remember the first time I met him, our first interaction when I joined the dorm, he was like, yo, don't go into research. You're young, you have a lot of energy. Stay away. And I was like, damn, okay. I'm just gonna, okay, that's good to know. Like, I in my head, I was like, oh, MIT's so cool. So I didn't it like passed through my head, but it was like, it still hit me. I was like, whoa, okay. And this guy has done like so many degrees. He's been at MIT for a while. And I remember that guy I would always hear him come home at like 3 or like crazy hours, like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It was like so strange. I was like, what is he doing so late? And then I just understood that like most labs there's just like, it's like a crazy production machine of research, of like cracked, cracked engineers and technical guys that just like, they just go all in. And I am not that guy. I enjoy things outside of work and outside. I mean, I like the work for sure. I'm a workaholic. But I have other hobbies. Like just the past few weeks, and I've just been like listening to tons of music, playing tons of music, playing guitar, electric, acoustic, playing drums, going out for like going to the gym, and like going back to living again and eating right, and cooking for myself, taking time to just read and like do like the most random stuff that like I like doing. And it's just like the lifestyle there was really depressing, which is really strange because like for a institution that prioritizes innovation and like helping like freaking like change the world for the better and like help humanity, like that's their motto, right? Like MIT is known for like being the saviors and like creating crazy technologies that like will benefit humanity, and everything is like for solving world problems, which is like obviously it's a great thing to have. There's a lot of optimism, there's a lot of like rational optimism, which is something like I'll keep it with me forever. But it was also, it's like the people working there are not all of them, but like some of them are pretty miserable. Like the soldiers on the on the front line, like actually grinding, like they don't have a life. Like they really don't. They're hermits. I was a hermit for a long time. Like I was staying in my room just like because you have no choice. I mean, I had to pick up the pace and like I had to learn on the go, but like that's the crazy thing, is like it was just so much. And so that's like a big part, is like I was burnt out many times. The work ethic was just too much for me to handle. But I learned a ton. I learned a ton. I paved my own way, and like I joined a bunch of hackathons. Like again, it was just like at some point I realized that like okay, I've gained what I've had to gain, and it was really not a easy decision because again like everything. But at some point it was just like the health thing was just getting to me. I missed actually being bored. I was like, man, I miss just having nothing to do and just like, or at least having some free time to just like read and just do the things I love to do. And then the other reason is this. I started this channel like during spring break of last year while I was, in the middle of this like MIT thing. I had 2 weeks off where I didn't, and that was before I had my job at the lab, and I had nothing to do. And maybe had like one project I did like near the end, where I had to like stack bricks for a pavilion, but apart from that, I had nothing to do. And so what I did is like I talked with some friends, went for coffee chats, like just hung out. And then I just had ideas of like, oh man, I want to do this thing I've always wanted to do. This is the only time I have to like just immerse myself. So I did like a sprint, and you can see on my channel, like it's all there. Like I'm like in my shitty dorm. And I was like, just every day I was like posting, or at least every other day I was like posting as much as I could about like ideas that I had. And didn't think too much about it, ended up doing okay. And then you guys were like the thing that just kept motivating me. Like and I repeat myself, but it's like I can't stop it. It's like the messages I've gotten from some of you and like a lot of you guys are just like incredible. And I've never had this feeling of like, it's weird. It's like very parasocial. Like, because I don't really know you guys, and you seem to be interested in like my life. And so it's really strange. I'm still getting used to it, but I feel like it's nice. Like like some of you guys really seem to, the videos seem to really help you. And I rewatched some of the videos to understand like what is it, because I would read the comments, and then some comments would say like, I really like when you say this and this and this, and like, or like the interpretation of it is like different from my intention. And so when I go back and I rewatch the videos and I listen to myself and the things I say and then I'll be honest, these videos I forget later on, because it's like I get in this flow state when I'm talking like this right now, and it just comes naturally. I'm yapping and I'm just rambling, but it's like all of it just is like as authentic as I want it to be. I really want this to be like, just me speaking my truth. And like, I might be wrong. It will probably change in a few months. I might look back and be like, I don't think I agree with this anymore. Or like, I could have reworded that, but it's okay. It's like, that's what humans do, is we do error correction nonstop, and we improve and we learn and we change and whatever. But looking at the comments and what like resonates with you guys really has been fascinating to me. And that's another reason why I wanted to drop out, is because like I wanted to dive into this more. And so might sound crazy, but yeah, I'm gonna be doing this full time. Well, full time, like, yeah, because right now, like I've been unemployed officially since like 5 days ago, or 4 days ago officially. My last paycheck came on the 15th. So I'm officially unemployed, which is really strange, because like I don't think I remember the last time I've been unemployed. Like I started working at like 14, like doing landscaping for like cutting grass, like, and getting paid like under the table. Don't tell the government, but that's what I did. And then ever since that, like I just worked full time during the summers to pay for like tuition and during the school year. And then even some school years I worked part time with companies that allowed me to do that. And I always had a job. I always had like a job somewhere, like working for a company or whatever, right? Or like I tried some side hustles here and there. but it's the first time where I'm in deliberately telling myself that I do not want to ever work for someone ever again. And I think it's because I've worked for like my dream labs and I was getting paid amazingly. I was getting paid US, and like if you know about the conversion from US to Canadian dollars, it's like it's super high. So like the getting paid in US as a Canadian is amazing because then you get to like, you know, it helps a lot. So because I've like reached that level, I'm like, and my bosses were nice. I mean, some of them, but like it, because I reached that, I was like, okay, well, that's like obviously you can always climb up the corporate ladder or whatever. Like you can always like make your way up um, in a company. But I realized like that's not me. I like doing things on my own, even though I do like working in teams. I like working in small teams, and I think that was one of the problems with the labs is that like the lab was like growing a lot and new people were coming in, and it just felt like the intimacy or like the closeness of just a few people working together and hacking together was not there anymore. And so I decided to like, okay, it's not for me anymore. But I just don't like being told what to do. I think at the end I'm like, I realize like I need to work for myself. So that's another reason. Um, and yeah, I think that's pretty much what covers uh, some of the things, like some of the reasons why I decided to drop out. And it's dumb. Like I'm not gonna lie, like my friends. I mean, some of my friends were like really supportive. My boss was really supportive. He was like, "Dude, good for you. Like, good luck on the podcast." It's obviously like MIT dropout sounds good too. Like it's pretty common, especially nowadays. Like there's a lot of dropouts from MIT with all the whole AI things, but a lot of them they mostly like go to SF and like start their AI company. For me, I wanted to build this community more and see how it goes and just like experiment. If I'm being honest, I have a vision of like what I want this to become. And I'll explain more in a bit what exactly that is. But I also wanted it to be like I leave space for serendipity and just like for co-creation with you guys and just I'm learning from you. I'm learning through the comments, through the calls I've gotten from you guys, the conversations I've had. Um, I have like financially I'm okay because the company has been paying me pretty well, and I've been like living pretty frugally. Like that's just my habit. I don't spend that much. Like I wear the same clothes like since like for years, and I don't really shop on unnecessary things. So like I have like enough to sustain me for like for a while, like not forever, but like for a while. um and I'm living in my parents' place in their like in their home. So obviously I'm not just like staying like a bum here. I'm like trying to support them. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm like I'm renovating the room, like make it nice, add value to the property. I'm being helpful, driving them around if they need help, like doing some, like small jobs, errands here and there. Like I'm being a and then my parents is another thing. Like they're getting older. I'm the eldest of my family. I have a younger brother. He's still in university right now, studying computer science. But my dad's like 60 or like a bit more than 60. He's thinking of retiring soon. My mom's still working and she's like in her 50s. But I'm sensing like, they're getting older, and like, I just want to be there. I haven't been with them in a long time because like I said before, I was like traveling a lot, working around Europe and Asia and whatever in Middle East. So it was like I've had my nomadic life at least for a short time, and then living in the US as well. But I felt like okay, at least for this new chapter. I turned 26. That was another thing too. Is that like I literally think I had like a quarter life crisis. Like hitting 26 did not feel like as nice. It was like, Oh wow, okay. Well, 25 was good, but then like 26 is like, I don't know if there's like a number, it's a numbers thing, but it just, at least for me, it hit me like damn, 26, like, yeah, I don't know. It just hit me. I was like, I feel like I need to do something different. I've been studying design for a while, and even design, like like working as a designer, I will, like, I don't think I regret it. That's my nature. I'm a designer. I will always be a designer. I'm an architect, even though I I officially can't call myself an architect, because like you need to finish a master's and get registered, get your license, and then be called an architect. But hey, I'm doing my room. Like, I'm an architect. I know how to do it, and like I've learned the skills to do it. It's just that like I won't be able to like officially stamp plans for projects, but like I don't care. So yeah, so family stuff. It feels good to be back, and I can tell that like they're, because I would call them once in a while. Like, I would call them when I was like abroad, and like I could just tell that like, living alone and not being close, like not having their son around for a while is a bit tough on them. So yeah, it feels nice to be back home. Um, and the Canadians, man, oh my goodness, I have to talk about this, but like, dude, the Canadians are so nice. I mean, obviously, I grew up here, but like, I feel like maybe because I spent so much time abroad and I haven't really like stayed here for a while. Like driving here, for example, they're so polite. Like they let you pass. They stop for you if you're both at the red light and one has to pass, they'll stop and wait for you to go. When you go to a coffee shop or when you go to a restaurant, the customer service, they're so nice. I mean, in Montreal, especially, like the French, like the Quebecois French is like so, they love to laugh, they love to make jokes and like small talk. And I miss that. I was like for example, like I started joining a gym. I'm like, side tangent, okay, just for a few seconds. But I joined a gym like recently because now I'm like settled here for a while. So I'm like, okay, might as well like find like a good gym, and like I'm prioritizing health this year. Um, so I'm like, okay, go to this really nice gym downtown Montreal on like a top of a nice building with like panoramic view, all glass with like skylights, and you can see like it's the city. It's beautiful. And there's a guy there that's like, I just joined like 3-4 days ago, but first day this guy was there, and for some reason I always see him every time I'm at the gym. He's there in the morning, and he's like this old, like, I want to say boomer. He's like a boomer who's really like hyperactive and like high energy, very social. He knows everyone in the gym and always says hi. But with me, he's always going coming up to me and like trying to like talk or say something. And I have my AirPods, like I have to talk to him, and we start like exchanging things. Like we just start talking and like small talking and making jokes, and like he's so funny. He actually cracks me up. And he's so genuinely nice. It's like you don't see this stuff in Boston. I'm sorry, but like people in Boston are super nice, but it's like because it's such a transitory city and people just come in and out and come in and out, you don't really like, it feels transactional, or at least it felt very cold. The people, like, they don't have this like warmth. They don't, the jokes are not there. It's like, it's really strange. So I really miss that. It's a fun city. Montreal is like so nice. I miss speaking French. Like, it's like the culture is so different. And yeah, so it's nice to be back. And so yeah, MIT's done. Taking a big risk, starting this thing. And yeah, so expect, I mean, so most of my days nowadays, like as of now, will be this room. So I'm gonna explain in a bit like what I'm actually doing with this room. Or actually, I'll talk about something else before that. But renovating this room, so that's like most of my days are gonna be that. There's a lot of work to be done. Prioritizing health, so just doing normal life stuff, like really like cranking the, I don't even know how to call it, but like taking time for myself, being a bit more selfish with my own health, I think. Like really like first order of business every day now is like go to the gym. Like that's it. Like I go to the gym and then I come back and then we can start the day. Because that's for me, like after what has happened, like I need to do it. And then this, obviously I'm just making these videos like, but I'm slowly experimenting. And this leads me to what I'm gonna be doing more now is I'm gonna be, because my whole idea, I noticed with like the comments, what's really nice and what I really appreciate you guys do is like, I noticed you guys like share your story or like your backgrounds. Like I see a lot of videos where like you guys are like, oh yeah, I'm 20 years old, I'm a high school student or whatever. Like I'm an undergrad, I'm studying computer science, I'm studying architecture, graphic design, or I work in design, and like I listen to your videos while while working or studying. And then like you ask questions about like, should I transition, or some career advice or some life advice or productivity, and like it's kind of like all over the place. But what I like is like it feels like everyone's just like sharing, and some of you guys reply to each other's comments, and I really like that. I think that's the nice thing about YouTube, is that like the comments feel healthy. There's like, at least from my experience, like it's not as toxic as like the other social media. That's the other thing I want to talk about, is that social media wise, I have been like off everything. Like, so Instagram, I've been off before coming to MIT. So it's been like a year and a half that I haven't been using Instagram. Like I occasionally will check it like on Safari or like on my web browser, just to like see if like my brother has sent me memes or something, or like if some friends are like trying to message me and I'm telling them I'm like, okay, I'm not on Instagram, like message me there. But that I'm completely off. I don't want to be on Instagram ever again. Facebook, I only use it for marketplace. I use WhatsApp a lot. That's pretty good. Or like just normal messaging. But I I stopped using LinkedIn. It's like so cringe now. Like it feels so transactional and so inauthentic. Like everyone's trying to be this thought leader and like trying to like, oh, I stopped. I completely like I probably like as a force of habit, I'll go on LinkedIn and then like just scroll for like 5 seconds, be turned off, and then just leave. So I don't use it anymore. X, I tried experimenting with X and like having these videos published on it, but then again, I don't feel like it's my platform. Like I don't feel like I would just use it for fun because of how chaotic and like there's so much BS on it now, and like, and also like the whole thing with Grok and like what's happening right now is kind of messed up, and like I don't want to be like associated with this platform, and like I don't know, it's kind of weird. And so those are like pretty much all the platforms. So like, but I discovered this new platform. It's called School, Skool, and it's like a social media platform, but it's not really social media. It's like almost like, think of like a Facebook group, like a community blog post, like forum. It's like a forum, like back in the early internet days when you had like just a forum, people ask questions, and then there's like replies, like threads, and like people can like, message them, like DM each other, and like it's really interesting. Like I've discovered that like maybe like a few months ago, and I've just been following it like on the side for a while. And I feel like it would be the perfect platform for what I have in mind for this whatever project I have in mind. But I'm gonna be basically starting a school community, because that's how they call it. It's like a community of whatever. So if you go on school.com, like there's communities for any sort of niche. You have communities for like people who love crocheting, people who like skateboarding, cooking, even the most niche things like starting a plumbing company, or like, like a book club on whatever, or like fitness or bodybuilding, powerlifting. Like it's really like, it's just a place where like you can socialize and meet people online and share ideas and just really like just, you know, meet people and talk about things you all like enjoy. So there's a lot more like in the community. Like there's, I mean, especially in school, like they're pretty active, and it's a new company, like it's a new startup that, you know, I've been following for a while, and like they're very like responsive with like the feedback that their users give them. So they add like a lot of like features that they just keep adding and improving, and like it's really gamified too, so it feels really like fun to be on the platform. There's no ads, there's no like, no one's trying to steal your data. Like no one's trying to sell you on like some random BS. It's like you join a community, sometimes it's paid, sometimes it's free, and then you get what you expect to get, and and it's like the specific thing you're interested in. So now for me, I gotta figure it out, like because I have so many interests, my niche is kind of all over the place. But like I said in the different video, like I believe like the niche is you, and for me at least, like I'm really interested in design. But design is really large. It encompasses, at least for me, what I think it encompasses like psychology, philosophy, aesthetics, art, creativity, empathy, like all these like. But I think the biggest thing is like design philosophy. I think for me has been like, or just philosophy in general. I think is like the closest thing I can like connect design to is just this way of thinking, like systems thinking, but also like learning to, because when you think about design, the small tangent, but like design is like, I truly believe it's a way of life. Okay. And it's iterating, it's changing, it's adapting to something or creating something out of different things. It's like I told in another video, it's like alchemy. It's not engineering. I mean, engineering is a part of it, but design is a way of rethinking things, of reshaping, and like there's a lot of optimism. One thing I really want to, like in this community I'm trying to build, is to bring back, or at least to give a bit of optimism. I've been reading a lot on, I should have brought this book. Anyways, that'll be for another video, but I really wanted to show, I finished this book called The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. It's a big break, it's dense. It's basically, David Deutsch is like a quantum physicist from Oxford or from Cambridge in the UK, and he's still alive. He's like basically like today's Einstein or today's, you know, he's just a crazy physicist, but like he brings in a touch of philosophy and connects things to biology and to computation, and he's like one of the pioneers of who's trying to like build the quantum computers. And like, you know, you might be intimidated to try to read his books, but he writes in a way that like it's very digestible, it's very open and like accessible to anyone who's like not really like that technical like me. But I read his book, and man, I think it's the most, it completely changed the way I think. And I learned a lot. I connected a lot of dots between like why humans need to create, how humans are universal explainers, how creativity is innate in us, in all of us, and that like the current way that most of humanity operates, and the systems around us, and social expectations, and like traditional like academia and traditional education is like flawed. And he points back to like the Renaissance back in Florence, classical Greece, like Athens and Greece, and all these periods of like enlightenment where like there was like a flourishing of creativity and like of art and philosophy, and like being a polymath and not like a generalist and trying different things, and like people coming together, and like, and there was art and beauty and all that stuff. So he's saying that like right now we are in this kind of period as well because of all this like abundance of information and of leverage of technology and all that stuff. Um, but you have to be careful. And anyway, I will definitely do a video series on this because on the book, because one video will not be enough. There's like so many, every chapter in the book is a gem. But if I can recommend any book for 2026, if you are a quote unquote philosopher builder, who's someone who like not only like is like wants to create and build stuff, but also like wants to, you know, create with like intention and like optimism for the world and for yourself, and like wants to create something of value, like I highly recommend The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. That's like my only recommendation for this video. So why did I talk about this? Yeah, anyway, I forgot why I talked about this book, but I had to mention that like that's the kind of stuff I'm into. Oh yeah, optimism. So optimism, he mentions that in his book, and he talks about sustainability too, which is really interesting, like his take on climate change and like sustainability. And I think especially for designers, I think it's worth reading what he has to say, because the guy is not stupid. Like he's won like a lot of like prizes in like physics and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, he talks about optimism and how really to the core that is like the thing that will that you should probably prioritize. Because I think like, you know, you can read the news and we're more connected than ever on social media, and like, you know, especially what's happening now, like it's like there's tension in the world and it's easy to be pessimist. Like we evolved to be pessimist. Pessimism is what kept us alive to survive around like dangers. But now we have less need for that because we live in a safer quote unquote world from like, you know, years ago. And so optimism is important because now the problem is in the mind. Everything that, like, you know, mental health is on the decline. People have more, less attention span. People are doom scrolling. ADHD is on the rise. Like the mind has become this kind of cage, this trap for the modern human. And so biggest thing is like you can do for yourself is a digital detox. So like just stop consuming and start producing instead. Like don't doom scroll at all. Like choose intentionally what you want to consume. Because like you are what you eat. You are what you ingest and put in your body and like, you know, put in your brain. And so do any form of mindfulness practice. But anyway, like all this stuff, this holistic health and wellness and well-being and creativity, I think is all intertwined. I think we need to think back like the Greeks of like a healthy mind in a healthy body. So like it's holistic, right? And I think that transitions to design. Like that's design is like you can design an object, but you can design your life. You can design your habits, your life, the house, your vision, the family you want to build, the friendships you want to have. Like it's just being intentional with what you want. Like what vision do you have? What project do you want to build? What creation do you want to create? Like I can go on and on. And so that community that I'm trying to build will be kind of about that. And it's an introduction. I want to leave it open because I also want to co-create it with you guys. I'm looking for like early members, like early like pioneer members that want to like help me maybe brainstorm, or who are interested in the vision or believe that like there should be a community online for people who are interested in that kind of stuff and like that want to bring in that rational optimism. My whole podcast, without even me thinking about it, was dedicated to that kind of vision in the beginning. Like you can just read my description on YouTube. That hasn't changed since the beginning. We need to bring back generalistic, holistic thinking to solve more complex problems. I think the specialized way of educating ourselves and of working is outdated, and we need to think like artists. We need more creatives. We need designers. We need people with like mixed backgrounds and perspectives, and who are willing to be bold and try new things and iterate. But we need builders. We need philosopher builders. That's what we need more. And so this is like dedicated for these kinds of people. So if you are interested, that's the only plug I'll put. I'm not selling you on anything. There will be a link in my YouTube channel, on the podcast links, on Spotify, whatever, and in the description, in the comments, you'll find a link. It's just a simple school link. If you're interested in helping me build this thing, help me join me in this, and then we can see how it works, what we can make out of it. And yeah, I don't know what exactly it's gonna be, but I think we can figure it out, and I need some help for that. So that's it for that part. I mean, the whole MIT, why I dropped out, and then starting this, like, basically I'm going full on solopreneur, like trying to build this thing. So that's that. Now, the other part of the title of the video is health incident. So I'll mention it briefly. I don't think it's that important, but it kind of changed a lot, at least in my personal life. So I came back from Boston. Like, I brought all my stuff. And I came back officially in Montreal again on the 19th of December. And then just took it chill, like hang out with my family, with friends. And then on New Year's Eve, I remember, like a day before, I caught a cold. I could feel my throat, like something was happening. And I kind of know my body by then. Like, I got sick quite often as a kid, so I kind of knew what was going on. I was like, okay, I'm going to be sick. But because it was New Year's Eve, and one of my New Year's resolution was like to stop drinking and no drugs. So my 3 New Year's resolution is no drugs, no alcohol, and no porn. That's like, I wanted to completely stop those things that were not benefiting me, I think. And I have like a past of experience, like bad experience or history with these things. So that was for me the biggest thing. But I wanted to, have a New Year's where I could like go all in with my friends and just go crazy just for the last time and just have fun, and then start 2026 like on a blank slate. So, but then I knew I was sick, so I didn't really take care of my body that much. And even then, like, I came back from MIT, like doing my finals, like still sleep deprived. My health was all messed up. I didn't go to the gym for a while, and like I also had parties with them, so I was drinking a bit, and so my body was already messed up. So when I had the New Year's party, I may have drank a little bit too much. And then on the day after, I woke up and I felt like, okay, like my head's gonna explode. I was taking Advil, and I knew I was gonna get sick. Like, I could just feel it. And then I got sick. Like, I was in bed. I had like, fever, tired, coughing. Like, I just felt like my nose was all like congested. And so I was like in bed all day, like right after New Year's. My parents took good care of me. My mom took good care of me. But then it just got worse and worse. I started coughing a lot. My throat hurt a lot. I was like asking my family to go buy some meds for me. Like, I thought that I had a bronchitis, because I knew from experience before that, like, that's how bronchitis feels like. And so I told them, like, oh, go buy some bronchitis medication. They went to buy it. They came back. I took some, and that's where shit went bad. I started hallucinating in bed. I started to have like crazy fever, chills. I was sweating like crazy. I was hot, cold. I was seeing things on the wall. I was like, My body was aching, my chest hurt, like I couldn't breathe well. Like it was like all the freaking symptoms you can imagine. I was like, whoa, this is a crazy bronchitis. Like, I've never had this like kind of bronchitis before. Because usually it's just like your throat just hurts. So that was like for a night. And then the next day I got better. But then it got worse again. So like it was really strange. But then that one morning, it was the morning of the 3rd of January, I was still taking the medication and I was following the dosage. It wasn't like I was like chugging the bottle. I was like taking the dosage that was written on the label. But that morning I woke up and I was tripping like crazy. Like I thought the world was against me. I thought I discovered something that, anyway, it was like I was not there mentally. And that's when I started to stop breathing completely. I was in bed and I couldn't breathe anymore. I literally felt my body like shut down, like my lungs were like shrunk. And like I couldn't like let a sound, like a gasp. It was like I literally thought I was going to die in my bed. Um, it was scary. Like it was the scariest near death experience I've ever had. Um, you know the saying where like your life flashes in front of your eyes. Like that's what I was thinking about. Like the only thing I could think about was like the people I've met, my family, my friends, and how it was such a shame that I was so young and I would die of this way. Looking back, it was probably like me hallucinating, but it felt like that. Like it really felt like that. And then out of nowhere, I don't know where that came from, I got this boost of energy. Like it came down from the sky or something. And my only thought was, I got to get out of bed and see my parents for the last time. So I sprint out of bed, run to the kitchen, and I see my mom there. She just woke up. She's like in her robe, and she's like, "Oh, like what's happening?" And like I just remember mumbling some words, and the next thing you know, like I lose consciousness, and then I wake up in my dad's arms. I did not know what happened, and like I'm like lying like this. My dad's grabbing me like this, and he has like his hand on my chest. Now, after that whole incident, what happened is what my parents told me is that like I apparently was like mumbling some words to my mom. I couldn't really say something coherent, and then my mom started yelling because apparently I was like starting to like, whatever, like just rolling around like this. And then she yelled. My dad was in the shower. He got out of the shower, and then I don't remember seeing my dad. Like seeing my dad when I woke up was really weird. I didn't know where he came from. But apparently he came out, and as he was looking at me, I was starting to like tilt towards, like we had a glass table. I was starting to tilt towards the glass table, like in the dining room. And that's where like my dad was like, okay, he's gonna start falling. And then he shifted his body, tried to hold me. And because my dad works in construction, like he knows how things weigh. And he's told me like I was weighing like 400 pounds. Like my unconscious body was weighing 400 pounds, and he couldn't like hold it because of too heavy it was. So he started to like crouch me on the ground. And then told my mom to call 911. Funny story is that like, well, not funny, but like my mom was panicking so much. Like when my dad asked like what the number is for 911, or my dad asked like call 911, my mom was like, what's the number? Because of how panicked she was. Yeah, not funny, but that happened. And then like, so he was on the phone with the ambulance or with the police. They tell him like what to do. He presses my chest and like does what the police says to do, or the ambulance. I don't really know. And then that's when I woke up. And I remember waking up, I couldn't feel anything in my body. I was like just really grateful I was alive. That's like the first thing I remember is like, it was like a rebirth. It was really like I came out of the dead. I was really in shock and just pure bliss through my body. It was like pure gratefulness and whatever. Like it was pure gratitude. So that's so yeah, that happened. And then he lays me on the ground, my dad, and then firefighter, police, ambulance, they all come pretty fast, luckily. You gotta be grateful for like good Canadian healthcare system. And then they fucking they take my shirt off. I'm sweating like crazy. I'm on the ground. I'm like answering the ambulance. They shave my chest. They put all these like ECG things to like monitor my heart. My heart's pounding like crazy, and like if it doesn't feel well, like I'm not there like fully, but I'm slowly like gaining consciousness. And then yeah, they take a bunch of tests. They bring me in like this like in the ambulance, and then we go to the hospital, wait 12 hours. Unfortunately, like that's how the system is here. And then I meet they do a bunch of tests on me, like a bunch of blood tests to understand what's happening. I meet a doctor, and then I do like x-rays, like a bunch of tests. Tells me to come back the next morning. And then the next morning, the results come out, and then he tells me like, oh, you had like a pneumonia, and the medication you were taking, like the cough syrup, like he was basically telling me like you have to watch out with like what you buy in the drugstore, because even though there's like similar brands or the same brand with like different variants of the cough syrup, they have different ingredients. And I didn't think through like I should have told my parents to like look at the label behind and like look at the ingredients, because I think my body didn't react well to that specific drug that they added. And I was taking other like Advils and Tylenols, and maybe didn't mix well, or there was I think I kind of overdosed, or like I had a bad reaction to it, which made me like lose consciousness, I guess. But then he told me like after you know like after doing other tests, like everything was fine. My chest or my lungs were fine, my heart is fine, everything was okay. He just told me like, because you have a pneumonia now, like it's an infection, like you need to take those antibiotics. So I went to the pharmacy, took those antibiotics, have been on it for like a week, I think, or a week and a half. Like a week. And yeah, today's like maybe the third or fourth day where like I'm not coughing anymore. But it was really brutal. It was like I was coughing like crazy, and like I was in bed watching Netflix and just resting, eating, and yeah, trying to like appease my parents, because my mom especially was freaking out. She's still, I think, a bit traumatized from it. So yeah, so I'm like slowly like getting back into it. But yeah, it's been like a few days where like I feel normal again and have the energy to do these videos and to go back to the gym and do things out, like go outside and stuff. Because like, yeah, it was a crazy way to start the year, but that's what happened. And so yeah, that is basically what happened, and it's still surreal. But thank goodness like my parents were there, because my dad still talks about it. Like if he wasn't there, my mom, no way she can hold me. But it's not the fact that I passed out necessarily that like scares him. It's the fact that there were like so many objects, like sharp objects around me where I passed out, that if none of my parents were there, or like if my dad was not there, or I could have easily like fell on the glass table and died, or fell on like the countertop, like the granite countertop, or on the hard floor, and like bang my head, and I'm done. So if there's a lesson I guess you can gain from is like, if you feel like you're about to pass out, like I guess find a place where there's like nothing around that's like hard, like find a soft surface if that can save your life, or go where people like a strong big dude is, so they can like catch you. But yeah, it really shifted my thinking, because like it has like having that near death experience is pretty insane. Like if I visualize myself back in that moment, it really shows you how fragile human life is, and it really puts priorities in perspective and how short it is, but no, more like how fragile it is and how fleeting. Because like the moment you realize you are gonna die is like, that's it. Like you, all the other concerns you've had or the desires you've had are gone. Like that's it. And so if there's something to gain out of it, I think it's to live your life intentionally. Um, yeah. Anyway, that's like a really bad way to end that video. I don't want to end on a like grim note, but that's it for the health concern or the health incident. And then finally the room. So like I mentioned, this is my bedroom. Yeah, it's snowing outside. It's like you can't really see, but it's like all white. And yeah. So yeah, I'm like slowly, I mean, I ripped up everything. Like it's literally like an empty ass room. Okay. So a lot of work to be done, but the vision is to make this into a cozy, cottagey kind of like library that becomes like my workspace. You can expect like a lot of wood, a lot of warm tones, a lot of plants, a lot of books. And yeah, like that was like, I remember back in December, I was like writing down like my 2026, like first order, second order of business, like what I want to do. And I was like, I need to, that's like the main thing I want to build first. And I'm going to apply like everything I've learned in architecture and construction and just like make it my own, learn as I'm doing it, like improvise and like, designing the way I want it to be. And so like it becomes a cozy place where I can feel inspired and like just like keep all my books in one place. And I don't know, it's something I really wanted to do. I was also inspired by that's a side tangent, but I don't know if you guys know this show. If you do, you're amazing. It's because I was like in bed all for like past few days. I've been watching a lot of Netflix, and I noticed on Netflix, at least in Canada, they released or they put up Doctor Romantic, the first 2 seasons, and it's a Korean show. It's a Korean drama. And I remember watching it like back, like when I was like 18, 19. So like a few years ago. And hands down, I think it's like my favorite show ever. It is so good. It is so well written. Like it's well written. The acting is amazing. The music is good. Like the plot is good. It's good. Like it's it's just a good show. But anyway, I was watching a lot of that stuff, and I'm gonna take some inspiration from like it's basically like a show of doctors, but it's a hospital in like a remote kind of cottage area, like up north in like South Korea, and the inside of the hospital is very warm and cozy, and like it's like it has like that old school vibe I want to bring in with like a lot of wood, and like it's very cozy. And so I want to kind of bring in that kind of coziness vibe to it, but I like a Canadian twist to it, and my own twist to it as well. So yeah, I just wanted to put it out there because it's such a good show. Like, highly recommend you watch it. It's in Korean, and like if you watch it, you should watch it with like the subs on. Like the original way, but it's such a good show. Like first season and second season are so good, and apparently like they released this third season, which I need to like watch, but it's not on Netflix yet, so I'm probably have to stream it. But anyway, that's it for the video. It's actually perfect. It's like actually an hour. Like I perfectly timed it. So I have to go now, but You can expect more videos. Obviously, now I'm unemployed. I have no excuse. I need to put myself accountable with this. But yeah, like I mentioned, there's a school link in the description. You'll find it somewhere in like my channel or somewhere in the comments. You'll find the link if you're interested in joining it. If you want to be like an early, supporter or an early builder and help build this community with me, like feel free to join. Or like think of it like a party. Like we just hang out, might hop on some calls on together. It's also a way for me, because I'm like out of social media, like I don't use anything anymore. I think the best platforms are either YouTube or school now, because like I just want to have like one place, or like just a few places, but like school will become the place where like if you have questions, if you want to talk to me, if you want to like discuss things, and I can learn from you, you can learn from me, we can like exchange and just like hang out. Like that's where everything's going to be from now on, alongside the podcast will always be there. So yeah, 2026, it's going to be an interesting year, but I'm pretty hopeful that it's going to be interesting, and let's have fun with it, right? All right, so on that note, I hope you have a good day. Thank you for watching, and peace.